Hello, welcome to the Union Pacific Railroad Geneva Subdivision in N-Scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 8, which will be a cab ride video completely through the layout. Right now we are in the west end of the staging yards. We call this the West Staging Yards. This is where you pick up your trains from the west end, and if you're heading eastbound. We're starting this cab ride video in the west staging yards, and then we're going to transition into the furnace room. Actually, it's a utility room because there's also a water heater. You can't see it, but it's to the left here. And then to the right there, you can see the furnace. If at some point the water heater needs to be replaced, I do have provisions for being able to remove sections of this staging yard so that the water heater can be serviced, and then the staging yard is put back again and get the layout running once again after having work done on the water heater. Hopefully that won't happen for quite some time. Now we are on the east part of the staging yard, which we call the east staging yards, where you pick up your trains if you're heading westbound. So the east staging yards represent Chicago yards, and we're on now the Geneva Subdivision heading eastbound. Heading westbound. And our first modeled city is River Forest. This is a town that I've done a lot of work on. You can see the platforms are all in, and the station is there. You got some people, lights, a waiting platform. And this is an elevated section of track, and you can see the roads and the parking lot there on the lower level. From River Forest, we head into the Forest Preserve and go through a wall. And coming out of the Forest Preserve, we cross the Des Plaines River and head into Maywood. Now, as you can see, Maywood has not had a lot of work done on it. This is an area that I'll get to at some point in time, obviously. There will be basically a platform for the metro station on both sides of the track, and then a road on the right running parallel to the tracks, and then roads moving to the left out of Maywood on the left side of the tracks. Most of the buildings there will be building fronts since there's not a lot of room. Here we're meeting a eastbound crude oil train as we move from Maywood into the Proviso. Now my camera is doing some goofy speeding up here every once in a while. I'm not sure what's going on. I think maybe the SD card that I put in there isn't recording properly. I think some frames are missing, and so when it runs it seems to be speeding up. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it's not too bad, just every once in a while. To my left there, you can see my computer and the dispatching station. And now to the right is the Proviso yard. As you can see, the Geneva Subdivision is double-tracked all the way through. Double-track main line, just as on the prototype. There you can see the Proviso a yard tower, which I just heard has been torn down. And then the engine facilities there on the right, the Proviso engine facilities. The Geneva Subdivision is double track all the way through, and as per the prototype, trains run on the left-hand side, which is unique to this particular subdivision. This was started by the Chicago Northwestern, which built the main line, and it has something to do with where the stations were put for the commuter trains, which also share this trackage. All right, you're going through another wall again, and from Proviso heading into Elmhurst. There are no industries serviced here in Elmhurst, but there is a metro station, as you can see. I have to say the roads there to the right look pretty realistic, and it looks like you're actually going through a town. Now, I know Elmhurst has 3 tracks going through. I've heard a lot of comments about that. I decided to just stick with 2 tracks there. From Elmhurst, we just go through a little bit of track with just some trees. Very narrow. This is the narrowest part of the main line as far as the bench work goes. This is about maybe 8 inches wide. All right, from Elmhurst, we're going around the bend here and heading into Wheaton. To the right there, you see one warehouse. That's going to be a warehouse district as we meet a coal train. Now you can see a truck here. This is going to be a crossing here with a road going into downtown Wheaton. To the right there will be on the other side of the coal train will be a Wheaton, or the Wheaton metro station. Now you can see a bridge pier there. There's going to be a walkway bridge across there, which is on the prototype. Now we just went through a wall which represents about 70 miles of main line that's skipped. And then we go from Wheaton straight into the central part of the state and across what I'm calling the Rock River and into Rochelle. So this is the beginning part of Rochelle. Have not done a lot of work here other than placing buildings down. This is a section that I'm going to be working on next. We just went under the overpass, and now we come into the model part, crossing that I just worked on. To the left, you can see the railroad park. Looks pretty cool. The neighborhood on the right, coming up to the crossing. Across the crossing, there's the old warehouse that's being torn down also. But staying up on my layout, another crossing. On the left there you have the BNSF UP interchange yard. And then the Del Monte warehouse. So that's a area there, those 15 feet of Rochelle that I've been working on, getting it modeled and putting in a lot of details. Been very happy with how that's turned out. Rochelle proper, which is not including Global 3, which we're coming up on, but Rochelle is 24 feet in length. And right now I have about 16 of the 24 feet done. So I have the remaining 8 feet to do. Now we're coming up on Global 3. You have a CN train ready to head out towards Chicago. Now you can't see a lot of the yard here because of the train blocking the view, but to the left here you have the Intermodal Global 3 facility, which is pretty extensive. And this is basically how it is on the prototype. You have this extensive intermodal yard to the left, and to the right you have farms and cornfields. All right, from Global 3 then we continue westward and enter Franklin Grove. This is another area that will need some work. I just basically have buildings set down as we meet another train, this time a manifest train. So Franklin Grove needs a little bit of work. There's a farm here coming up. You can see the grain silo, the top of the grain silo there. Need a little bit of detail work to be done on the farm. And now we basically just have northern Illinois countryside as we come up upon the Mississippi River. Looks like the signal is clear to go across the bridge. And we head across the Mississippi River and go from Illinois into Iowa. So now we're in Iowa, and this will be Clinton. To the right there will be a ADM plant. In Clinton, there's a huge Archer Daniels Midland plant. I'm going to just try to model as much of it as I can. There is a abandoned passenger station there also. And now we're back to where we started, back at the West Staging Yard. So that was a complete run through across the entire layout, about 200 feet of main line. And since we kind of been focusing on River Forest and Rochelle, which is what I've been working on, I thought we would do a eastbound run through both. So here we go up through the platforms in River Forest first. Been very happy with the way that River Forest turned out. And then from River Forest we go back into the staging yard. Now we're going to go through Rochelle from the other direction. So now we're heading eastbound. We came through it once already going westbound. Now we're going eastbound. So there's the Del Monte warehouse to the right and the BNSF UP interchange yard. That's Highway 38 to the left going out to Ashton and Franklin Grove. This is the First Avenue crossing, road crossing. And the warehouse to the left. Looks like we have flashing yellow to go across the diamonds here. This looks pretty good, I think, with the railroad park there. I even put it in a gazebo. You have the parking lot, the gift shop. I'm trying to put the engines on display. That crossing looks pretty good. And then this is the area here where I'm going to be working on next. So this is the remaining 8 feet of Rochelle that needs some roads, details, and so forth. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Continue to enjoy the greatest hobby in the world, model trains, especially in N scale. Have a great day. Take care.